Let us let us take same and let me do in reverse way. And then means at the end we are going to connect three coils and then maja aayega. Okay, see here my first coil is like this and second coil is like this. Okay, now these two are magnetically coupled. Now if I have current is being produced here, okay, dot convention and all will come, just wait. Okay, see here, if I2 current is flowing in this particular coil, then how pi 2 is going to be induced? How pi 2, see here, I2 is going like this, meaning that my flux is going to be in this direction. This is pi 2. Okay, out of pi 2 means some component will travel like this, some component will travel like this, Now sense of the winding of blue and red are same and the direction of flux is same. Okay, see here, now because of I2, forget about this, because of I2, some variation in I2, some voltage should be induced in the second coil or not. Yes, that is passive sign convention. So by passive sign convention, it's going to plus, it's going to minus. Whenever current is entering, I have to keep the plus. So that induced voltage is V22, self-induced voltage. Okay, because of I2 variation, some voltage is induced here. Okay, how much is that V22? V22 equal to, if I think of inductance of this is L2 into di2 by dt. Okay, mutual coupled networks we have to understand slowly. No need to have any rush feelings like it has to be completed. It will be completed. We are going to own it. Okay, now if I think of induced voltage here, okay, see here, means same sense of the winding, same direction of the winding, and flux is going to be in the same direction. Okay, here because of this particular variation in current, variation in flux will be there. In that variation in flux, some component of variation of flux is going through first also. So in the first you are going to get some induced voltage or not. Yes, so that induced voltage, okay, here if it is induced plus, automatically plus only should be induced here. Okay, how much should be that induced voltage here? Because of second induced voltage in first, because of second flux induced voltage in first. Okay, so how much is V21 is going to be M21 into D, because of the change in current I2 by dt. Same like di2 by d pi, di by d pi can be written like this, right? D pi 21 by di2 into di2 by dt can be written. But anyway, this is going to be the thing. This is going to be the induced voltage here. Now let me have both the coils are having currents. Okay, now and the second one is blue. Okay, in this let me have currents. Okay, if some current is flowing in this direction, which is of I1, if some current is flowing in this direction, which is of I2, now let us interact both the things. Then gradually you are going to have addition, subtraction of fluxes, etc. We are going to get. Okay, now this is I1. Now because of this I1, how my flux is going to be developed, in which direction my flux is going to be developed? My I1 is in this direction, or I can say that my I1 is in this direction, meaning that my flux is going to be in this direction, right hand, I repeat, right hand. Okay, so my currents are in this direction, so flux is going to be in this direction. So this is the flux pi 1. Now if I think of the second coil, okay, in second coil I2, when current is entering, again my currents are going to be in the same sense of the winding, See here, in my second coil also sense of the binding is going to be same. Current directions are going to be same. So my flux is going to be in the same direction of pi 1. So this is pi 2. Okay. Now see here, for time being, let us assume that this is not there. Okay. Means I'm focusing on red, and this blue coil is not there. Blue coil is not there. Under that conditions, means how much induced voltage will be induced, means because of I1, variation of I1, because of variation of pi 1, some induced voltage will be induced here by passive sign convention. Whenever current is entering, we have to keep plus. Okay. Now that particular voltage magnitude may be positive or negative. If current is in increasing order, voltage magnitude is going to be positive and it is going to absorb power. And if my current magnitude is in reducing order, or when di by dt is negative, under that conditions, polarities of voltage is going to be reversed. Okay. Ultimately, plus will be here only, minus will be here only, but this particular magnitude of voltage is going to be reversed. Okay. Such that from coil it is going to deliver power. Okay. Now this is going to be my induced voltage is going to be V11. Okay. Why V11 is induced? Because of self inductance, because of self flux. Okay. Now if I think of here in blue. Okay. In blue, if you see, current is entering here, flux is going in this direction. Now only self I am discussing as of now. Okay. Forget about red. Okay. I am focusing on blue. Red is not there, for example, because means red flux is not there, red coil is not there. Under that condition, the moment current is entering here, automatically voltage will be induced here. And this is second coil. So this is V22, self-induced voltages. Self-induced voltages by passive sign convention. Okay. Now let us try to understand blue only. Okay. Now means combined, if you see, whenever this coil flux is in this direction, this coil flux also in the same direction. Okay. When this particular current is existing I1, flux is in this direction pi 1. When pi 2 is being existing, under that condition pi 2 is aiding pi 1 or not? Yes. When pi 2 is aiding pi 1, okay, so because of pi 1 some voltage is induced here, because of pi 2 some component, because some portion of pi 2 will travel through this and some portion of pi 2 will go through this, will go through its own leakage kind of stuff. Okay. Now because of existence of pi 2, net magnitude of flux is increased or not? Yes. When net magnitude of flux is increased, means because of flux variation only you are going to get induced voltage. That induced voltage should be increased or not? Right. That induced voltage should be increased, meaning that, see, plus here, minus here, induced voltage because of 2 in 1. Okay. I hope it's visible, because of 2 in 1. Okay. See here, blue, because of blue current, because of blue flux, some voltage will be induced in coil number 1. Okay. That voltage should be increased. Okay. Or that particular voltage, induced voltage because of second conductor current, okay, should aid the self, because self is also in this direction and this particular flux is also in this direction. Because of existence of pi 2, net flux here is going to be increased. Net flux is increased, meaning that net induced voltage has to be increased. Now if I think of red, okay, when red is not there, then plus minus induced voltage will be induced depending upon the passive sign convention. Now when red is there, because of pi 1, net flux interacting with this coil is increased or not? Yes, because they are in the same aiding direction. Okay. Now because of existence of pi 1, net magnitude of flux is increased, meaning that net induced voltage across this should be increased because of pi 1. Okay. Now it means pi 2 is there, pi 1 is there, pi 1 is in aiding direction with respect to pi 2, and because of pi 2 self-induced voltage is there, because of pi 1 mutual induced voltage will be there, because of this flux induced voltage will be there here. That induced voltage should aid self-induced voltage or not? Yes. So here it is going to be plus, here it is going to minus, because of first flux induced voltage in the second. Now let me draw total voltage here, V1. Okay, total voltage here V1 means this particular positive negative will be decided by direction of current here, passive sign convention. Now what is total V1? Means apply KVL. My means already I told you previously only, whenever you touch minus, use minus, whenever you touch plus, use plus. Voltage drops, we are going to consider it as positive. Now, whenever I touch minus, minus of V1, or if you send it to the other side, V1 equal to plus plus. So, V1 equal to plus V11 plus V21. So, the equation is going to be V11 self without having this component is going to be L1 di1 by dt plus M because of 2 induced voltage in 1 into because of I2, because of pi 2 induced voltage here, and that pi 2 component means out of that total pi 2, some component of pi 2 is interacting with this, and that particular portion of pi 2 will be produced by I2. So di2 because of I2 happening in first coil. Okay, now let me draw blue. Okay, let me draw blue. My current is entering here, so plus here, minus here. I2 is entering here by Paschen convention, plus should be here, and this is going to be V2. Now, how much is V2? How much is V2? V2 is going to be minus of V2, or V2 equal to plus plus. So, this is going to be V22 plus V12. Right? Now, this is V22 self is going to be L2 by its own di2 by dt plus because of first coil induced voltage in second coil, because of first induced voltage in second into because of first di1 by dt. Okay. Now, in this way equations we are going to form. Now, next thing is, this is fine. Now, let me take the same coils and let me keep dots. Okay, see here, I don't know whether copy function is there in this or not. Okay, let me draw. Now, because of I2 means the same thing we are going to convert into dots, and from dots we are going to write equations, and same thing we are going to consider, and we are going to convert into like current controlled voltage source. Okay, after that we will go to 3 coils. Okay, after 3 coils you will get okay. Right now, because of I2, how my flux direction, right hand I2 flux is in this direction, so flux is in this direction pi 2, and because of I1 my flux direction is in this direction pi 1. Okay, now because of pi 1 induced voltage here is V11, and because of pi 2 means net flux is going to be increased, so net induced voltage should aid, mutually induced voltage should aid self-induced voltage, because of pi 1 self-induced voltage is this, because of pi 2 mutual net flux is increased, net voltage should be increased, meaning that this particular mutual induced voltage should aid self-induced voltage. So plus here, minus here, V because of 2, 1. Okay, now let me think of blue. With blue current is entering here, so plus here, minus here, this is self, and because of red net flux is increasing, so plus minus net induced voltage should increase, and this is going to be induced voltage because of 1 in 2. Right now, how dots has to be placed? Okay, see here, whenever relax guys, whenever my current is entering, for self it is positive terminal, red. Now means whenever this current is here, means how my induced voltage here, mutual induced voltage here plus, Okay, relax. Whenever current is entering here, means self-induced voltage will give you positive here. And whenever the current is here, how mutual induced voltage, which terminal of mutual induced voltage is going to be positive, is going to be here. Okay, here if you take red, here you have to take red. Okay, or in another way, which color has to be used? I don't know, I'll use this color. Hope it's visible. Okay, otherwise if you take blue is fine. Okay, otherwise I'll take red or okay, red. Okay, so whenever this self is positive, this mutual is going to be positive, fine. Or whenever this self blue, whenever this self is positive, mutual is going to be positive. Anywhere we can keep the dots. Okay, once you keep the dots, see here, once you keep the dots, forget about the analysis. Because why we are converting the given thing into dot convention? Because means here always I should draw the sense of the winding, because without knowing the sense of the winding, direction of the winding, current will be there, but without knowing direction of winding, how to find pi 2 direction, pi 1 direction, without knowing the direction of fluxes, how to find induced voltage polarities? Because if pi 2 is in opposite direction, okay, I'm about to show in the next example, means if pi 2 is in opposite direction, then net flux is going to be reduced. So net induced voltage should be reduced, meaning that my mutual induced voltage should be against to self-induced voltage. Got my point, right? Anyway, for time being it's enough. Now let us see here, means here direction of the winding is required. Now you can eliminate direction of winding by converting these particular coils into dots. So see here, this is one coil and the second coil is blue. The moment coils are represented in this way, can I apply right hand thumb rule? No. With sense of the winding, direction of the winding only I'll be able to apply this. But means the same thing, pi 1, pi 2 are aiding. That particular aiding nature of the flux we are going to represent with the dots. Okay, see here, let me use red, right? At starting, left side, and here my I1 is going in this direction and my I2 is going in this direction. Okay, now let us try to, because directly they can give this, or directly they can give a dot convention. From dot convention also we'll be able to write equations, jujube. Okay, see here, first of all self will be there, mutual will be there. Okay, now when self meaning that my current entry point you have to keep positive, self-induced voltage, whatever may be the current entry point you have to keep plus. See here, my current entry point plus will be there, that is self. Okay, and that particular magnitude of voltage plus will be there. That magnitude of voltage can be positive or can be negative, depending upon whether increment of current or increment of flux is happening, or decrement of flux or decrement of current is happening. Okay, now see here, for self, I forget about dots are not required. For self-induced voltage, current is entering here, so plus minus self-induced voltage. Now means, see here, relax. Because of this current, some voltage should be induced here. Because of this current, some voltage is induced here. Whenever my current is entering into dot, see here, focus. Whenever my current is entering into dot, this dot will become positive, mutual. Okay, so see here, whenever my current is entering into dot, this dot will become positive. This is because of 2 in 1. Now let us think of blue. Whenever means, forget about the dot, self, forget about the dot, plus minus V22, self-induced voltage. Now see here, means self is over. About mutual we have to understand, meaning that depending upon somewhere current we are going to get induced voltage here, because these two coils are mutually coupled. Okay, now here, in order to understand mutual, we have to find out the current here. If my current is entering into dot, Okay, if my current is entering into dot, this dot is going to become positive. This is going to be induced voltage because of first into. Okay, see here, relax. Once the dots are being transformed here, forget about that. Okay, because see here, if my current is entering into this dot, meaning that this flux is going to aid this flux. Okay, now forget about all. See, for self current is important. For mutual means if this current is entering into dot, this dot will become positive, or if this current is entering into dot, this dot is going to be positive. That's it. Now let us write total V1 because I1 is entering here, so total V1, because ultimately it may be inductance or mutual inductance, passive only. Okay, now let me write equation minus of V1. If I write equation in this direction, I am going to touch minus first, minus of V1, or if you send it to the other side, it's going to be V1. Now V1 equal to V11 plus V21. Okay, in that self is going to be L1 di1 by dt plus M21 because of second induced voltage in first. Problem solved. Now let me write blue. Current is entering here, so this is going to be V2. Now what is V2? V2 is going to be minus of V2 or V2 equal to plus V22 plus V12. Don't focus on 1 to 2 1. Gradually you will be habituated with it. Okay. Now this is going to V22 self L2 di2 by dt plus M12 di1 by dt. Okay. Induced voltage in second coil because of current variation in first coil. Okay. Now same thing. Let me convert it into without dots also. Okay, without dots also. See here, the moment these two voltages are aiding, without dots also we can transform. See, this is going to be R my now if I think of I1 here, okay, so meaning that across this is V1. This is going to be, see, V11 or L1 di1 by dt. So L1 di1 by dt plus M12 di2 by dt. So M12 di2 by dt. Where are the dots? Dots are not required because actually that mutual induced voltage has been converted into current controlled voltage source. Okay. Now this is di2 by dt. Now in blue, if I think of this as I2, voltage is going to be V2. V2 equal to L2 di by dt plus M because of 1 into di1 because of current 1 dt. In this way it can be written, equations can be written. Okay,
it's time to experience something glorious. Unacademy Combat. Compete, crack, conquer.
A challenging gate contest engineered to give you an experience like none other,
where you put your knowledge to test
and battle it out with a test
to bring out the best in you. Unacademy Combat is the most competitive, gamified contest for gate till date, with the best of the questions by best educators,
with detailed video solutions from top educators right after each contest.
Combat live with peers to get real-time rankings and win big.
Participate in every contest to improve your ratings.
Challenging contests every fortnight or alternate Sunday. Live ranking after every question. Big rewards for top rankers. Your passion to crack gate deserves this. Your hard work towards your dream deserves this. Fuel your inner fire for the ultimate gate challenge. Unacademy Combat. Register now.